I just closed a $10,000 deal in my coaching business to prove that it's not luck. The craziest part is I did this under 60 minutes on a one-call close using a very simple, repeatable process that doesn't really require much time or effort to learn. And in this video, I'm going to show you the actual call live so that by the time you're finished watching this video, you can also go out there and start closing $10,000 deals on a consistent and regular basis. And I've shared this framework with clients that have paid me over 5 figures and generated results just like the ones that you see on screen. Now, in order for this to work for you, you must stay until the end because I've broken this down into 5 key phases that all go hand in hand that are going to allow you to leave this video equipped with a new skill set that's going to allow you to get regular and consistent 5-figure closes for your business. Let's fucking go. Phase 1 is connecting. As you're going to see across this call, the number one thing I'm focused on doing is building an undeniable relationship because I understand that at the end of the sales call, there must be 3 boxes ticked in order for someone to buy from you. The first one is they must be sold on you. The second one is they must be sold on your offer. And the third one is they must absolutely believe that you have what it takes to help them get from A to B. And we're gonna break down the connecting phase so that you can see exactly how I do this. All right, I cannot believe I'm giving this shit away for free, but let's fucking get into it. So first up, we have the connecting phase. All right, so between 0 to about 10 minutes, I'm pretty much connecting and just building an amazing relationship. I'll give you some insights to the call, and then I'll break it down as I'm doing it as well.
How you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, I hear you. It took forever to download.
This meeting is being recorded.
No, you're good, man. Look, even me, sometimes I've got issues with Zoom. It's not your fault. Technology can do in the websites and that, all right?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And so that video you sent me, I totally forgot to watch it. I'm so sorry. It's been so busy, and I was out of town. It's just a crazy week. Always a crazy week for me. So I apologize. If we need to reschedule, we can.
No, it's okay.
Okay.
Look, I mean, I've spent a freaking 100 weeks where I have everything all over the place, and I can't get a grip on my schedule, right? So totally understand, you know, and even though you haven't watched the video, I'm sure you'll have a chance to watch it in the future, okay?
I'm gonna put a note on my desk right now and just say, watch the video. I should have done that. I have sticky notes everywhere to remind me to do things.
You sound like me when I was starting my business. I had sticky notes, literally one like attached to my mirror when I was leaving, attached to the fridge, just so I couldn't forget stuff, right?
Yes, absolutely. I'm the same way. I just have to have it in front of me. So,
yeah. By the way, you know, just a quick question. Are you going to be joining a video?
All right, cool. So very couple of important things that I did, even within the first 90 seconds of opening up this call, that build an insanely strong relationship to the point where it becomes easy to now acquire someone as a client, is this. Number one, I've pretty much assured the person that it's completely fine. First off, they showed up late to the call and they had some issues with Zoom. Most people in this situation get frustrated, worked up, sit there and say, oh, you're late, you didn't do this, you didn't do that, and it puts people on the defensive. That's one thing you majorly want to fucking avoid. Second thing I did is they missed out on an extremely crucial and important video that they were meant to watch before they actually joined the session. And it's actually one of the requirements that we have. Now, I could have approached this in 2 ways. The first way is I could have just turned around and said, well, you didn't watch the video, so we can't go ahead with the session because you don't know who I am, and just made a big deal out of it. But I was completely empathetic and said, look, man, it's completely understandable. There's times where I'm too fucking busy, I've got a lot of shit going on, and I even forget to do some important things as well, so you're completely fine. And I'm sure you get a chance to watch it. It gives off a reasonable tone. More importantly, it creates a high factor of likability, which is super important because people want to buy from people that they know, like, and trust. And instantly within the first 90 seconds, just by approaching it in this way, I've built extreme likability, which you will see continued through later on in the call. So another final point that I want to add on to the connecting phase is I know some people teach you in sales, oh, you need to be relaxed, take a relaxed approach, high status, high authority. I don't necessarily believe in that bullshit. The reason why is because from experience, I sat down with a speaker who spoke in front of an event room and he closed over $1 million worth of deals in that weekend alone. And I asked him, how the fuck did you do it? How did you make $1 million in a single weekend? And he said, one of the most important things I want to share with you today is if you can change someone's state, they will buy. People will not buy in the current state that they're in. You need to raise or elevate their state. Think about it. When you go purchase a car, what they get you to do? They get you to test drive the car. Now you're exhilarated, you feel the adrenaline, you're excited, and you're in a different state, which is why you're much more likely to purchase. And it happens in a lot of purchases that we make, right? So this is a very, very important thing to keep in mind. How I open my sales calls, open them with high energy, and my aim is to change someone's state. Very important. We'll skip bits and pieces of the call because I want you guys to see the most important and valuable aspects of the call.
Back from California to Texas. Thank you.
Nice to meet you. So, I'm super excited to be. I'll tell you a little bit about myself. in just a sec. But I want to take the time to definitely find out a little bit more about, by the way, just want to say quickly, love your background, the airplane in the back, the plot, is that super cool?
That was, yeah, that was my dad. I worked for American for almost 20 years, and my dad was a pilot, and he passed away, but those were, every time I would see him, I would sit in a plane, and my mom has a lot more planes in California, but I don't like how I fly, and I like bringing it back. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to bring it back one day, and have to drive back from California to Texas, probably a 2-day drive, and I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Where are you from?
I'll let you guess. See if you can get it right.
Oh my goodness.
So one thing that I was going to say, but I got a little bit sidetracked, I tend to do this on my sales calls, is I was going to say, look, I want to take the time to find out a little bit more about where you're at, where you want to get to, and see the best way I can help you get there. So what I'm essentially doing is I'm always setting a frame for the call, right? And I'm establishing in a very conversational tone versus a salesy tone that I want to know where you're at, I want to know where you want to get to, and I want to know what's keeping you stuck in the middle so I can help you get from A to B. Very important at the beginning of the call so that you retain the frame of the expert and have the positioning and authority throughout the remaining call.
No, I'm not good with guessing.
Okay, cool. I'm sorry. So, I used to live in London, and then since I moved over to Dubai, because London was being good weather, it's not really safe.
Grew up in Orange County, California, and then I still live in Reno.
Because I watched too much Looney Tunes growing up, right? So it's going to be like a...
As you can see, I make a lot of jokes throughout the sales call. Humor sells, right? I remember back in the day, there was a time where I was struggling to close a lot of deals, and I saw my business partner Z effortlessly close deals. And I asked him, I said, how do you do it? And he's essentially the guy that introduced me to the one call close. And he said, humor. You sound too salesy on the phone. The more personable you are, the more jokes that you crack, the more of a better relationship you're going to build with someone, and their defense barriers are a lot lower. So when it comes to offering a service that you know can truly help someone, they're a lot more receptive to it. It's a massive thing that you want to keep it at the back of your mind.
Tumbleweed rolling through some stuff.
Because we divorced and the kids are here, his family's here, I have to stay in Texas, in Tarrant County, where I'm at. I guess if you count myself, being a kid, I'm self. Trying to keep busy, trying to start this off.
He's best late 50s, but, with yourself, you're fine with that. Okay? And then how I can help you. So, okay?
Yes.
Cool. Also, I'll tell you a little bit about myself, right? Before we do that, I want to very quickly find out a little bit more about where you're at, right? Where you want to get to. And then I'll share a little bit more about myself and some of my experiences. Okay? And then how I can help you. So, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm just pretty much establishing that I want to help them find out where they're at, where they want to get to, how I can help them get from A to B.
Go ahead.
I just hear a lot of stuff about selling online and being affiliate marketing and, with buying and everything. I mean, that's just kind of like, that's how it is in today's world. And so if I think, I'm willing and able to do what I need to do to get that started.
Definitely. And you mentioned you haven't been doing something different for the past 20, 30 years. What was it you've been doing?
And whatever. I was for them for about 11 years.
So pretty much, that is a main wrap up of the connecting phase. It's just high energy, high status, building a great relationship, being extremely likable, and the way you become more likable is being friendly, being empathetic, being understanding, right? So next what we're going to be doing is we're going to be moving on to the qualifying phase. Phase 2, this is the qualifying stage. So what you're going to see me do over here is ask a set of 15 to 20 hyper-targeted questions for 2 purposes. The first one is to help the prospect realize why they're stuck in the situation that they're currently stuck in, where it is that they want to go, and what's missing in between that's keeping them stuck in the current position that they're in. Finally, I'm collecting information on what it is that's going to allow me to tailor the perfect close by the end of the sales call, which you're going to see coming up.
Okay, and then how I can help you. So, okay?
Yes.
Is it?
Yep.
So when I ask that question, I'm now moving into the qualifying phase where I'm about to collect all the information that I need and ask the right questions that's essentially going to help Suzanne here get to the realization that she's currently stuck with her approach and she needs a different one to get from A to B.
Go ahead.
I just hear a lot of stuff about selling online and being affiliate marketing and, which is totally not what I've been doing for the last 30 years of my career. I need to do something that's different. I want to take a look and see, I think everything nowadays is all on internet, social media. You can do pretty much anything, from your home and never leave your house. Everybody's always online. That's just kind of like, that's how it is in today's world. And so if I can, take a little piece of that market and benefit myself and my family, well, I'm willing and able to do what I need to do to get that started.
Definitely. And you mentioned you haven't been doing something different for the past 20, 30 years.
That's when I instructed all of the new, went to go work for their reservation system, get my daughter kind of situated, take my other daughter, move her into her apartment there at her college. States. So it's a good job, yeah.
That is absolutely amazing, Susan, because your father worked as a pilot for American, and you had just under 2 decades of living.
So as you can see, one thing that I commonly do amongst the sales call is whenever I collect information from a question. So let's say, for example, I asked you, I said, well, what have you been doing for the past 10 years? And you mentioned to me that you've been a pilot. I won't just skip past that and be like, oh, okay, interesting, you're a pilot. I'd be like, oh, that's interesting. So for the past 10 years, you've been a pilot and now you're transitioning into doing something completely different, which means it's probably new territory from you and you're going to need some help. Is that right? So what I'm doing is I'm repeating back what the person said to me so that they know, number one, I'm listening. Number two, I clearly understood what it is that they said. And number three, I've made an assumption linked to why they're going to need help. And that is a very fucking powerful thing that you want to do, especially in the qualifying phase. The biggest mistake I've seen so many closers make that don't get those $10,000 closes is they forget to do important things like that.
What I've done, I'm still watching and doing lessons online to kind of see, how to go, reading, listening to people's testimonies, because you just never know, is it a scam? How much money do they want from me? How much money do they, are asking for? And so, at this point, I'm like, okay, I really just need to take it step by step and day to day and kind of figure out,
Definitely. I mean, look, you're definitely taking the right approach because I've been around this industry for just under a decade now, right? So I've been on decent period of time. And
I like to also insert expertise where I can, right? So the person's mentioned to me that they're clearly wary of scams. They've been in situations where they like to make sure that they have the concrete information that they need before making a decision. So I've said, look, I completely understand where you're coming from. I've been around the industry for about 10 years now, and I've seen a lot of shit. I've heard a lot of shit. And here's the advice that I can give you based on experience. So you're planting mini seeds of authority throughout the sales call. And this is one thing that very few people I've seen actually do, but there's one thing that I do in every single one of my sales calls that helps me position myself so much more. And I know it works because the person I'm speaking to is so much more receptive to the advice I give them after I position myself.
Pretty much any program you physically imagine. And if I haven't bought myself, clients have gone through pretty much any of the programs, right? So like yourself and everyone has different goals starting out. Some people just want to make a couple thousand a month, right? Other people want to make 10,000, 15.
Another thing you notice is I ask questions in a very conversational tone. So versus most people that say, hey, you want to make how much money do you want to make a month? That's kind of shit, right? And it sounds very salesy. I'm like, hey, look, there's a lot of people that want to make different levels of money. Some people are happy with a couple thousand. Some people want to make a little bit more and they're a bit more ambitious. What kind of person are you? And it helps the person also identify who they are as a person. And there's something called the identity close that I've been using for a number of years, where if you get someone to tell you what their identity is, they will live up to their identity. For example, if someone's like, hey, I'm ambitious, or if I ask someone, hey, are you the type of person that makes decisions slow and takes a really long time, or are you someone that likes to be clear and confident and make decisions quick? Someone's going to be like, well, I like to be clear and confident and make decisions quick. Now that they've admitted that's who they are, they want to live up to the frame of who they've admitted that they are. Very fucking powerful. It's called the identity close. Sometimes I use it earlier on in my sales calls. Other times I can use it at the end of my sales calls. Implement that.
20,000 a month, right? For you, Susanna, what is that goal that drives you to want to do this?
Ooh, a long time. 2017. Grow my business from there, or whatever I decide to do, just kind of make it expand, and eventually leave the 9 to 5.
Yeah, I always say corporate is like golden handcuffs. Because I've got tons of clients that make 6-figure yearly salaries, they get to travel, get amazing perks and benefits, but at the end of the day, you're still restricted on your time. You still keep doing the job. That means going out, beating the level.
Displayed understanding is another very, very important thing that I do in the qualifying phase. So if someone tells me that they've been working corporate, I've personally worked with a lot of clients that have had corporate jobs. And yes, there's a bunch of amazing benefits to them, but a lot of the time they feel like they're stuck in golden handcuffs. So they got all the perks, they got the benefits, they got the high salary, but no time and no freedom, right? So I'm relating it back through client testimonials and sharing examples of my clients, which then positions me because I've helped those clients get out of that situation and shows that person that I understand truly where they're coming from. And it's a very, very important quote. I believe it's by Dan Kennedy. And he says, the minute you can show your clients that you understand their problems better than they do, they will buy from you. And this is something I'm implementing and doing live right here.
You're never going to have the freedom to travel enough or have the free time to do something like that, right?
Yeah.
So yourself, if you were to replace what you currently make a month, what would it take to make that happen?
So I'm over 6 figures, but I pay a lot for college and car insurance and car payment, and I live and I travel a lot, so I always have to put a lot back because I just need to start small. I need to be realistic.
Right.
Terrible.
Crazy situation, and then during that period of time, the job place restructured a bit, and she got let go. Right. So for 6 months.
I'm sharing another client success story, someone that was in a similar position, someone that can relate to again display that we've helped people like yourself. Because remember, by the end of your sales call, someone will buy it if you tick these 3 boxes. Number 1, they're sold on you. Number 2, they're sold on the fact that you've helped other people overcome their problem. Number 3, they're certain that your product and service is the best thing since sliced bread. If you tick those 3 boxes through the different things that you display on your sales calls, whether it's client testimonials, or the questions that you ask, or how you storytell to position yourself and your offer, you will get a guaranteed close.
I'll be transparent with you, Suzanne. Like, I told her up front, you're probably not going to make
wealthy affiliates.
Wealthy affiliates are around.
Yes. Yes.
I did that 20.
Pretty cool, because I can actually sit and there's times I just have to sit and work, and I can focus. Like, okay, Suzanne, focus. Yes.
Right.
Yes.
I'll give you a note, then I want to tailor like the best session that you've ever had. Okay. So I got started out in this industry, like I mentioned to you, just under a decade ago, right?
So now we're moving on to storytelling. Phase 3, this is the storytelling phase. So what you're about to see right here is you're gonna see me storytell to relate to the prospect, where they're currently at, where they wanna get to, and storytell the solution that has helped me get from A to B. And what I'm doing here is I'm pre-positioning the same solution that I'm about to offer them, which is one-on-one coaching. So you can see me talking about my story here. I got started in the industry just about a decade ago.
The reason I started was very simple. I worked retail and I was making absolutely freaking nothing, right? Like $1,700-$1,800 a month on a good month. And the reason I started is because my father, he worked as a bus driver, right? So funny enough, he used to work at an airport, right? He had an injury, like just right? The only other job he could get was bus driver. He had really bad arthritis in his knee, he was getting posted like this. And I see the guy wake up 4 in the morning every day, go to work at 5, come back, he's doing 12 hours, and I just really freaking bad leg work. I'm very skeptical. I was like, this course is that course, is that course. And one of the first courses that came to us was the Wealthy Affiliate Program, which is why I was
so I'm kind of storytelling here. And just to give you a quick wrap up of the story and why it's so powerful, is I'm displaying understanding, and I'm showing Suzanne that I've once been in the same shoes as her. So I'm sharing my story about how I started out. You know, one of my main goals was to retire my father, who was working as a bus driver at the time. And I fucking hated seeing the guy close to his 60s wake up 4 in the morning, go to work at 5 a.m., come back at 5 p.m. Right? And I can tell that Suzanne has, you know, wants to do this to help out her family too. So it's a relatable thing that we have in our journey. So I had a desire, I tried to achieve it, I tried some of the same things that she's tried, which led to failure. I felt stuck exactly how she felt right now. I found the solution, which for me was one-on-one coaching, and here's all the amazing results that I've achieved, which is the same path that I'm about to display to her, and I'm going to give her the opportunity to go down the same path and try the same thing that's worked for me. That's why storytelling is so powerful, because once you've connected with someone, once you've qualified someone, now you can storytell and relate back to certain aspects of their journey that are relatable, right? Which shows that, you know what, this person can help me. Again, ticking the box of selling them on why you're the perfect person to help them get from A to B. Because that's all the sales call is at the end of the day. It's, are you the most qualified person to help me get from A to B? If yes, I will do business with you. It's the same with a fitness trainer. If you're completely unfit, out of shape, 150 pounds, overweight, and your personal trainer sits down with you and shares a story about how they were also once 150 pounds overweight and tried every same diet that you've tried and it didn't work out until they found this one diet, you're going to be a lot more receptive in listening to them so that they can help you get from A to B, right? It's the same shit. This is why storytelling is super, super, super important within your sales course, which so many people surprisingly don't do.
Right? And he meant, like, everything he spoke about means so much. He said, don't pay for ads, right? Until you're making money from your business. You need a predictable strategy that can help you get clients without spending money on ads.
So in my story, you can see I'm positioning certain things that I want Suzanne to value now. For example, having a predictable step-by-step strategy, which I know she currently doesn't have, right? But because it's one of the things that have helped me get from the same position that she was in to now being successful, she's going to pay very close attention and be receptive to the importance of having a step-by-step plan, which is what I'm about to break down and what I'm about to offer her inside of the coaching program.
And you need to have like a concrete step-by-step plan. Like whatever goal you have in mind, you need to reverse engineer it and work towards it day by day. So he broke it down for me over a session. I really like that. Looked at him, decided this, right? Scared. Best decision I ever made. It took 3 weeks ago for me to make my first $1,000 online. And when I made the money, I didn't even think of it.
Again, another thing I'm storytelling is the fact that I was scared because investing into coaching was a big deal. There was a high price point involved, but I still went for it, and here's the payoff, right? So I know later in the sales call, I'm going to get Suzanne to make the same decision, which is to invest into coaching. And because she might also be scared, she'll reference back to my story and say, well, do you know what? He was also scared, but he was in the same position as me. If it's worked for him, it can work for me. So I'm pre-handling objections before they even occur through the power of storytelling.
in my bank. There's no way there's money to grow. Money hits my bank constantly, right? So, what are you familiar with?
Anyways, sharing some of my Stripe results. We won't get too much into those, right? Just to, again, rebuild positioning and authority. So I'm showing her that I've generated just over $4 million online inside of my business, because again, I want ultimate positioning and authority. And anything that I say past this point is not going to matter unless Suzanne knows with full confidence and clarity that I'm someone with authority to help her get from A to B. Phase 4 is presenting. So you're going to see me take all the prospects' current beliefs about what's going to help them get to where they want and rebuild those beliefs with the new things that are actually going to allow them to get where they want, i.e. inserting my solution right over here. And I'll show you how it's done. So now we're moving into presenting, right? But before we moved into presenting...
And actually get some good results. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let's do it. So Suzanne, first things first, right?
Yeah.
You want to set a goal and work back. That money will move away.
Oh no, I'm just saying, like, I didn't invest $50,000, but you know, it's like they yeah. You know, and so I'm getting myself out there and what
you would love to walk away with. What would those one or two things be for you? This is the use it in restaurants, use it in businesses.
Oh, okay.
I've done a little bit over $1 million online, just under 1.1. So collectively, I've done just under $4 million online, right? And the reason I'm sharing this to you is because I know what it feels like to be starting out. I know what it feels like to work $10,000 a month, but have all these programs in front of you, not necessarily knowing the right start, right?
Yeah.
So my question is, you know, by the end of the second year, if there's one or two things that you would love to walk away with, what would those one or two things be for you, Suzanne?
Where can I get the most bang for my buck? You know, what I'm afraid of is failing. I can't afford to fail.
Very important question I asked after storytelling that beautifully helps me position from the storytelling phase into the presenting phase. And it's this: once I've storytold and, you know, shared some of my results, you know, sometimes if you don't do this correctly, you can come across like a real dick. But here's how you avoid that, right? For me, I say, look, the reason I'm sharing my journey with you and everything I've achieved is because I feel like you and I have been in the same position. I feel like you and I have common challenges that we've both experienced. So I ask a very crucial question, and you want to write this down if you're watching this video. It's, if I could share with you one or two things by the end of our session, what would you want to walk away with? And typically, what they say is what they need to see before they make a buying decision with you, right? So in this case, the lady over here said, well, look, I want to see where I can get the most bang for my buck, meaning I want to see how I can make my money back before I invest into something. And number two, she mentioned I want to avoid failure. That's very important to me. So if you can show me how to do these two, I'm going to be more likely to buy from you. Now I know what to focus on throughout the rest of my presentation for it to really resonate and gel well before I make an offer, which you're going to see me do in the presenting phase.
Because, you know, and so I'm getting myself out there and whatnot, but, you know, it's just kind of scary, you know, it's kind of like when I lost.
And actually get some good results. Sound good?
Yes.
Okay, cool, let's do it. So Suzanne, first things first, right?
Yeah.
You want to set a goal and work backwards from it, okay? So whatever your goal is, right? If your goal is $10,000 a month, look, I'm going to tell you for free. Like, if the minute a client pays me, whether I've got clients that pay 10, 15, even $30,000 to fly out and coach the person, right? And I will tell you from experience right now, the last thing that you ever do is set up a domain. The last thing that you ever do is set up like a website, email software, funnel. Like, these are the least of your work.
So I won't go too much into the presenting phase because it's extremely long, but the main things that you want to understand is I've taken the data from the qualifying phase, right, where Suzanne had mentioned to me that I'm working on my domains, my website setup, all these other things that I deem to be important for me to get results. And all I'm doing is I'm breaking those old beliefs down, because as long as Suzanne believes that a domain is the most important thing, she's never going to buy the step-by-step plan, because for her, that's still the most important thing. So it's in my best interest and in Suzanne's best interest to help her realize through my presentation that, look, your domain isn't the most important thing because you mentioned to me that your goal is $10,000 a month. So let's break that goal down and see what it's actually going to take to achieve that goal. And inside of that, you know, I'm sharing with her that she's going to need a strategy that looks like this. Now, if you want the easiest way to break down the presenting phase versus breaking down the how, you need to share with them the what and the why, right? So what traffic strategy works better and why does it work better, right? Or in the case of a fitness trainer, the most easiest example I can share with you guys is if someone believes a high carb diet is what's going to get them into shape, you need to break down what diet works better. For example, a high protein diet. And why does a high protein diet work so much better in comparison to a high carb diet in helping you lose weight, right? And once you've broken that down in the presenting phase by breaking down their old beliefs and sharing with them the new beliefs that they need to adopt, then it's a lot easier to position your offer, which is a high protein diet plan paired with a workout plan. You get the point, right? But I'm just doing the same thing for my offer here. So as you can see, I'll break it down in a lot more detail, share with Suzanne some live examples, which you can do with your offer by inserting your area of expertise. And then finally, one thing I like to do that adds a great personal touch, and it depends on your niche, right? But for my niche, it works extremely well.
What if I didn't want to go out and do...
Tell people back to me, how many clients do you have?
We have, what, 9?
9? And if 9 people paid you $1,000 each, how much money did you make?
9,000.
9,000, right? Is that a bad start?
No.
So one thing I personally like to do is I like to help my clients make their money back before they ever invest. And it removes a lot of the risk, right? So in this case, I broke down with Suzanne that if she had an offer that she could sell for $1,000, a high ticket coaching offer, right? She'd only need 3 leads a day. And in 30 days, you'd have 90 leads. If 10% of them buy, that's 9 clients. 9 clients that paid her $1,000 each, that's $9,000. If I can help my clients make their money back mentally before they ever invest, it removes a lot of the risk because it shows them exactly what it's going to take to get results so they can invest with confidence, right? Now, with fitness training, you can do something similar in terms of showing them how easy it is for them to reach their goals if they do invest, right? And how simple it is.
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not, right?
Success is that.
Like, to create actual good content that gets results. And I don't really want to get on the phone and...
Another thing that you'll notice as I'm doing the sales call is in the presenting phase, I like to share my screen and use a whiteboard to draw visual animations, right? Now this is something that you don't necessarily have to do. It's something that I just kind of picked up on about 2 years ago. And I started using this and I noticed it made it so much easier for the potential clients to digest the concepts I was explaining to them. And because they had a much better understanding, it became a lot easier for them to buy as well.
And offer my product or service to people anymore, right? So what I do, I had an appointment sale that basically manages all the DMs for you, and I had a few closers, a few salespeople, and they pretty much spent all day on the phone offering my program. Just about, that's everything it took me. But look, there's always 2 ways you can go about growing this business, right? And Suzanne, the first option is do what everybody else does, right? Spend the next 12, 24 months, test it.
I do, then I would have to take that out of my savings, and I'm not at a point yet for that.
For sure.
So,
Totally agree with you. And here's the thing, I can break down what it would look like. Because here's the thing, man, you deserve to be able to go out, buy the shoes, buy the handbags, travel. Just to make a decision to work together one-on-one, right? We're going to be working together across the next 3 months. Clear, step by step, one-on-one. I promise not to bore you with any DX like training videos, because most of them get outdated very quick.
Phase 5, we finally have the closing phase. So you're going to see me present my offer and walk the prospect through what my offer is, what it's going to do for them, and more importantly, pricing and how we can move forwards. Essentially, we're now moving into the closing phase where I'm breaking down my sales pitch, right?
Just to make a decision to work together one-on-one, right? We're going to be working together. And I used to believe in this lie, I used to say it until I realized it's not about conserving every little penny you have, it's just about making enough income so you can spend to help you get from A to B, right? Which one of the 2 do you feel like fix what you want, right? That's everything that it took me. But look, there's always 2 ways you can go about growing this business, right? Easier, because I was like, all right, cool, well, I told the person, okay, I only have this amount of time. What is the 1 or 2 activities I can do this time to make money and get results? So you broke down the pay the plan, I was like, all right, that makes so much sense.
Okay, that takes a hold on. My daughter's texting me. Hold on. Normally she gets the ride home, and I want to make sure she has the ride home. All right. Okay. I'm sorry.
Oh, good. So yeah, that's everything that it took me. But look, there's always 2 ways.
Okay, now I'm moving into the official close. So the way the close works is I always do an option close, right? And I've done this in every single sales call and it works exceptionally fucking well. Even use this in my VSLs and it works extremely fucking well. So I always break down 2 options. I'll let you hear it and then I'll explain it after I've done it.
Ways you can go about growing this business, right? And Suzanne, the first option is do what everybody else does, right? Spend the next 12, 24 months testing, trying, posting content, paying for expensive ads, learn from video training courses, and then hoping to figure it out, right? I've personally been down that route. Some people like it, right? Well, the second option is, look, whether it's me or whether it's someone else, invest into working with someone one-on-one, someone that understands where you're at, someone that understands where you want to get to, and can build a bridge to help you get from A to B, right? Which one of the 2 do you feel like fix what you want, right?
I mean, I think I definitely need one-on-one, right?
So what I simply did is I broke down what the current approach looks like, doing it without me, all the challenges that she's probably going to encounter if she goes down that route, or all the benefits of what it looks like to work with me. Now, some people might think this is cheesy, but it works extremely well. And who better to select which route they want to go down than your prospect? Why would you rather tell them, you know, what route to go down versus allowing them to make the decision and own the decision? It's so much more fucking powerful.
I need someone to kind of tell me, this is what you do, 1, 2, 3, let's build this business together. But I don't want to spend 6 months to a year waiting. I want results yesterday. So who doesn't? You know, yeah. I'm sorry, I'm a single mom, I like to spend money, I like to go on trips and I like to buy my shoes and purses and go out with friends and happy hour all the time.
Finally, we have the objection handling phase, the one that most of you guys probably struggle with. So you're going to see me take some of the prospects' common objections, handle them each and every single one of them one by one to ensure that they have the reassurance that they need to move forward with my offer with complete confidence. So at this point, she did mention to me that she has a limited amount of savings, and I kind of story told and broke that old belief. It's about breaking old beliefs, because the one thing that holds your prospects and clients back from actually purchasing with you is the old beliefs that are keeping them stuck, right? And I'll give you an example. When I used to believe that I need to save and conserve every penny, it held me back from going out there and investing into stuff. But there's certain lessons that I've learned over my journey where it's like, if you hold on to every penny that you have, you're always going to be in the state of conserving. You're never going to be in the state of growing and actually attracting and making more money. So I story told once again, because storytelling is extremely valuable in sales. And I shared that story with Suzanne. And I said, look, do you want to be in a situation where you're constantly conserving, or do you want to be in a state where you're constantly expanding and growing? Now she agreed, and this is where I start to get into my close.
Okay, you don't want to make a right decision to put your kids in jeopardy, and I'm not here to tell you to do anything like that, right? So what I'm going to do is, would you like me to give you a breakdown of what the question is, how much it costs, and what we could possibly do?
Yes.
Okay.
Now this is a very, very important part of the call. It's called permission to sell, where I'm basically asking, and I do this on every single sales call as well, where I always ask for permission to sell. Hey, I'm very, very confident I can help you with X, Y, and Z thing and help you achieve X result. Would you like me to share with you what it would look like and how we can work together? That one permission to sell builds something called yes sets. So now you've asked them the two options they'd like to go for, which is do it by yourself or work with someone. They've agreed that they'd rather work with someone. Now you've asked them, hey, would you like me to share with you what my offer looks like? And now they're a lot more receptive to it, and mentally they've already kind of accepted that they would want to purchase and buy your offer, which massively skyrockets your conversion rates.
Let's do it. So, Suzanne, if we was to make the decision to work together one-on-one, right? We're going to be working together across the next 3 months. Clear, step by step, one-on-one. I promise not to bore you with any BS like training videos, because most of them get outdated very quick. I could have sold out a long time ago and launched training course after training course and made 10 times as much money.
So here's another thing. As I'm breaking down my offer, I don't personally read off of slide decks or anything like that. And the reason I like to do it like this is because I know my offer off by heart, right? So one thing I highly encourage you to do is to learn your offer off by heart, because every time you break it down, you can relate it more to the person versus just reading off a script. I'll give you an example. If I sold how to create viral content on Instagram, you know, and I was just reading off a fucking script and I just said, first thing we're going to do is create 10 pieces of viral content. That's kind of shit, right? Because I might be speaking to two different types of people. The first person I might speak to could be a realtor. The second person I might speak to is a nail tech, right? So I might sit down and be like, look, the first thing we're going to help you do is analyze the most viral pieces of content that realtors are currently using to flood their businesses with clients that want to buy, sell their homes, and we're going to help you create this so that you become the #1 realtor. Or if I'm speaking to a nail tech, then I can relate it back to them, right? So I always create a more personalized approach. I know the core concepts of what I'm offering. It's basic, it's traffic, it's sales, it's funnels, amongst other things. But for it to really be impactful, I need to tailor it and relate it back to the person. And that is why we collect as much information as possible in the qualifying phase to see what it is that's going to resonate most with the prospect.
I have today, but I didn't do it on purpose because I value my clients as well, right? The first thing I'm going to do is #1, help you pick or craft the perfect offer. Because the biggest mistake that keeps people stuck for 6 to 12 months is wrong offer selection, right?
Another thing I also do is, as I'm offering something, I'm always explaining why they need that thing. Even if I feel like it's self-explanatory, I will still go above and beyond and explain why they need that thing or what problem is going to occur if they don't have this item, which just adds 10 times more value to whatever it is that you're selling and makes it more impactful service for them to actually have and move forward with today. So this is another thing that you're going to notice that I do at the end of my close. I like to ask them, well, look, if you were to do this across the next 3 months, how would you feel if we did do this together versus you doing this alone? Again, I'm asking that question so they can bring up any concerns or just admit to me that they would rather prefer to do it with me versus do it alone. Again, getting them to sell themselves versus me having to go out there and sell them my offer.
Like after the 90 days, am I free to like just continue with the tools that you provided to me? Or is it still like, if I still need help after 90 days, am I able to reach out to your team? How does that work?
So another thing I always do is whenever someone asks me a question, I always interpret their question for not at face value. I like to read between the lines. So if someone's asking me, well, look, after the 90 days, am I still able to reach out to your team? It just shows me that this person wants some reassurance in knowing that they want to work with someone that's going to be there for them every step of the way. What better way to show them that this is going to be the case versus telling them, right? And this is where I bring up proof, examples, chats with my clients that worked with me 3 years ago and I still give them coaching and support today to really drive home and draw the point, because what I want to do is I want to increase maximum levels of certainty and help people understand that they're going to get support every single step of the way as they work with me.
So it's $100,000. I'm joking. So
always like to make some jokes as well.
Right now.
Yeah. So
I said it's $100,000 if you were to renew with me, which I should charge after posting this video.
I'm very giving with my clients, man, and I won't even tell you, I'll show you.
Yeah, I won't tell you, I'll show you.
Countless help and support. All inclusive from the offer, the traffic, the sales, the funnels, the one-on-one coaching, the guarantee that we provide you. Typically, if you go to our website, it's $15,000 US, all inclusive, right? But here's the thing, Susan, I really like it. I click with you, and I don't know what it is, right? Maybe it's the fact that you're Texan, right? But
yeah.
Here's the thing, if you were to make the decision to move forward with me, I'm going to do 2 things for you. Number 1 is give you an over the phone discount of $5,000 off. That way you're only looking at a one-off investment of 10. Plus, I'm also going to include another $5,000 bonus, right? Which is a VIP access ticket to our mastermind event in Dubai. Because I know you love traveling, right?
Yeah, I've never been to Dubai, but yeah.
Yeah. So it's a 2-day event. We have invited some of the biggest industry leaders that are crushing.
Anyways, I price dropped. It was about $10,000 close, and I was willing to go above and beyond and give this client a $5,000 ticket to the mastermind that has just gone by in Dubai. Unfortunately, the client wasn't able to make it because it was literally a week's notice. But often, I like to add in so many exclusive things that it makes it a no-brainer for the client to move forward. So you need to have irresistible components that you wait until the last second to then add on, which makes the offer even more irresistible, right? So I was sharing with her some of the speakers that were flying out.
Open up WhatsApp, right? She generated over $5,000.
Sharing client testimonials to reinforce the decision.
Completely screwed. Yeah. So pretty much, like, from as far as back as I can remember, all my clients, your daughter's, 2 tuition payments, right?
The amount, and then this trip to Dubai. I mean, when it and Sunday, that's a lot.
Included in your one-on-one coaching, you typically charge $15,000 for that. I did discount it by $5,000, bringing it down to 10, and then just to kind of sweeten the deal for you, just to ensure you have
I know.
$5,000 my ticket, which I don't make any money. Like, I personally physically take a loss if you were to come to the mastermind, but I would love to have you there, right? Because here's the thing, like, if you are able to make it work in some way, shape, or form, here's what I know. You're gonna get like one of the most incredible experiences if you. Let's do this. Let me go ahead and take 2 things from you. Your email. Let me send you all the details on the mastermind. Let me send you all like client testimonials, interviews. Like, you can watch everything just to like have that 100% of certainty. And then when we book in for later tonight or for tomorrow, you're probably gonna have some questions. You're probably gonna have a better idea of what you can and can't do. And I'll speak to my team and I'll see what we can do if you weren't able to attend, whether that's discounted a future mastermind or just doing something exclusive.
So to conclude the call, it was about an hour long, right? And at the end of this call, Suzanne had pretty much said, look, I want to move forwards. I want to get started with you guys. And, she said, look, I'm just running a little bit late. I need to head over to something for my daughter. Later tonight, we can schedule a call. and I'm pretty much happy to move forward with the payment. In between, all I did is send her some quick testimonials, some case studies which she watched. Unfortunately, she wasn't able to make it to the Dubai Mastermind. However, she did sign up and enroll with the coaching program. So as you can see, over 60 minutes, this is everything that I've done to close a $10,000 deal in one fucking call, right? And there's a lot of gems and lessons I've shared with you guys across this entire recording that you can use, plug and play today to start making a shitload of money and learning the key elements to the one call close so that you don't lose a bunch of fucking deals. Learning how to close is just the first step to getting $10,000 plus clients, which is exactly why I've put together an entirely free video walking you through step by step my Instagram client acquisition funnel so that you can have every single strategy that you need to generate your first $1 million cash collected in 2024. So go watch the video, and as always, subscribe.